Rumors are that allegedly there is a huge war about to take place behind the scenes at Real Housewives of Potomac. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly there is a huge war about to take place behind the scenes at Real Housewives of Potomac. What's going on? I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that allegedly there's a behind-the-scenes war at Real Housewives of Potomac. The source said, after the filming of the reunion, the cast dynamic shifted greatly. The reunion showed the ladies who production valued the most, and the outcome was shocking. The ladies were, of course, surprised to see Mia take Gizelle's first chair at the reunion. This move signaled to Gizelle that she is indeed replaceable and needs to reroute her course of action as a cast member. Also, Ashley being shifted towards the end of the couch also showed the ladies that production no longer saw a need for their alleged plant to continue further with the franchise. However, it was Mia taking Gizelle's first chair that has allegedly created a war between her and Gizelle behind the scenes. Rumors are, said to source, that Gizelle sees Mia as a threat and has started to ice her out of their group alliance. Whether Mia knows it or not, she is on an island by herself, said the source. Also, Gizelle officially has her eyes set on taking Mia down next season and might use Wendy to do it. However, sources say Wendy is too smart to fall for Gizelle's games and tricks. All sources say Gizelle is extremely threatened by Mia and that Mia should watch her back once filming starts. Now, kinfolk, this is a rumor that is not a surprise to me, and it should not be a surprise to you. And the reason why I say that is this. Time and time again, we have seen what Gizelle does to a cast member who she feels threatened by. I think the first time we saw this was with Candace, and how she came at Candace trying to make Candace apologize to Charisse for this, this make-believe beef. And it was the first time that we saw Gizelle and her personality flip. And the reason why it flipped, sources are saying, because here was Candace, this young newcomer to the show, who for all intents and purposes was somewhat of a housewife. And she had the money, she had the wit, and she had the charm that made her a perfect fit for the group. And sources are saying this was the first time the group saw a different Gizelle. And then enters Monique. And this is where a lot of sources are saying that this is when Gizelle turned into the current form of Gizelle who we see now. Someone who is relentless as trying to destroy a person's marriage and their reputation. So with that being said, none of this should come to a surprise to you. This is something that Gizelle does when she feels threatened by a cast member who is taking, or who she appears or thinks is taking the shine and the spotlight off of her. My sources are saying that production and the other ladies saw a glimpse of this when Candace was first introduced to the group. Candace was this young, witty, and fun girl who came to the group and who, for all intents and purposes, was somewhat of a housewife and had the money to back that up. And so Gizelle immediately saw this as a threat. And that's the reason why we saw this weird show of emotion from Gizelle when she was demanding Candace to apologize to Charisse for this make-believe beef that she thought they had. And then my sources are saying, fast forward to Monique entering to the group, and that's when the current form of Gizelle really came into focus. And that current form of Gizelle was that Gizelle who was just intent on destroying a person's marriage and their reputation with lies and with rumor and with make-believe drama. And so with that being said, it should be no surprise that Gizelle sees Mia as a threat because Mia somewhat possesses all the same qualities that Candiace and Monique possess. But the thing about Mia is that Mia has this thing that where she pretty much is a person who you either like, you love, but if you don't like her, she's like a lovable villain. And that's just one of those qualities that Gizelle just does not have. And that's what the show is missing. And that is what Mia provides for the show. And Gizelle being quote unquote an unofficial producer, I think she sees this as well. And it should be no surprise that she's going to probably try to take Mia out of the show in order to re-secure her spot as the show villain or as a force multiplier. Something that honestly Mia has been very great at doing this last season. Now, Kinfolk, the next part of this rumor I do find factual. It's regarding Wendy, but it's not dealing with Gizelle, and it's this. You know, Mia is very new to this reality TV show game, and Mia, for all intents and purposes, is not the smartest when it comes to dealing with drama or dealing with reality TV and the cameras and with the things that she saying, the things that she says and the things that she does on camera. So with that being said, she is going to have to enlist some help. And I think she's going to find help if she needs it from Wendy and even Candiace to help, not necessarily take Gizelle down, but to get Gizelle to stop messing with her. Because, Mia has probably been at a lot of those rooms or at a lot of those tables where Gizelle was formulating these plans against Wendy and Candiace. And if, Mia was paying attention, I think she was, she knows all the tactics that Gizelle uses to try to ice out some of the ladies if they're not going along with some of her plans. And so with that being said, I definitely feel like Mia is going to have to use someone to help her fight against Gizelle so that Gizelle does not appear to have or keep the upper hand when it comes to Mia's placement on the show. Now, Kinfolk, the next part of this rumor, and it has to do with production. And I can see production actually doing this because if you paid attention to this season, it seems as if producers are on this trajectory. And that trajectory is this. With all of these cast dynamic changes that production has implemented, it's becoming very clear that production is moving on to a younger cast. And if you are to believe Gizelle is like this unofficial producer, she has to see the writings on the wall. Because if you look and see all the newbies that they have been bringing on, whether it's an actual housewife or a friend of the show, they have always skewed younger and not older. And with that being said, it seems as if the cast dynamic is changing to a point to where Gizelle and Karen and Charisse may no longer be needed. And in the case of Gizelle, Gizelle's that person that people just do not like on Real Housewives of Potomac. Unfortunately for Gizelle, she does not have any redeeming qualities. Now I can see the cast of fans fighting to keep Karen on, but when it comes to Gizelle and Charisse, it's out the door, and no one would bat an eye or even say they miss Gizelle being on the show. And Gizelle, I think, is a smart woman, and she knows this in the back of her mind. So if she allows Mia to come in and pretty much take over her spot, then there will be absolutely, and I mean absolutely, no need for Gizelle to continue on the show. And the reason why is because Gizelle is not a uniter. She can't do that. And if she did try to do that, Karen is already filling that role. And she does not have any likable qualities when it comes to, making friends or playing nice with Candiace and Wendy. So she really has no group to go to. And she becomes a second thought of a cast member. So I could see how that line of thinking could possibly create tension between her and Mia and start a behind the scenes war. Now, this war that could take place will be very telling because at the end of the day, only one side can win. And if things are continuing to go for Gizelle, they have been this next season, it seems as if Mia's side is going to win this war simply because while Gizelle has been trying to ice out other cast members, she ultimately has iced out herself really from the group dynamic. Now, Kinfolk, the last thing about this rumor that I find very funny is this. It just really seems as if whenever Gizelle has this crazy plan to ice out a cast member or to go to war with a cast member. It seems the last couple of times she's done this, she has actually been at war by herself. Because Wendy and Candiace have officially caught on to Gizelle's game. And they're just not giving Gizelle life, right? They're not reading and being baited into this drama and this false narrative that Gizelle tried to create drama and ultimately try to use it to her advantage to get them put off the show. For example, when Wendy said she's not going to talk about Gizelle's kids because Gizelle has weaponized her children in the past to go for her benefit. And so now Wendy and Candiace have pretty much taken up Gizelle's playbook and decided not to engage and just allowed Gizelle to be in a war or a fight by herself. Now, I think this is something that probably would happen with Mia, but I think Mia being in first chair, she may feel like she has to defend herself next season and go toe-to-toe with Gizelle in order to keep that first chair. But at the end of the day, I think she's going to learn something that Candiace, it took a while for Candiace to learn, but Wendy caught on pretty early. That you just have to really ignore Gizelle and leave her up to her own devices. Because when you do that, she tends to dig a deeper ditch for herself than anyone else on that cast could have dug for her. And that is what I think is going to be the secret to Mia ultimately winning this war, is that she really has to pay Gizelle dust and allow Gizelle to continue to ice herself out of the group dynamic. Now, kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. If you are to believe this rumor that allegedly it's about to be a war behind the scenes of Real Housewives of Atlanta because Gizelle feels threatened by Mia, then let me know if you think that Mia is going to ultimately come out on top, or do you think Gizelle is the one who's going to be victorious? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over in the next one. Peace.